Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Monique Alvarez, and we are going to be talking all about how to give them something to talk about because what you will learn if you haven't already is that if you can't get them to talk about you, it doesn't matter how much you talk about yourself. Now, this is probably the number one thing you don't want in your business, but if you have an online business and you want to use the internet to grow your business, this is a non-negotiable. In fact, it's the only thing I did right when I came online 11 years ago. And looking back, this is the thing that makes all the difference. So I'm actually going to make sure this is streaming over on Facebook. And then I'm going to share it into my Facebook group. If you're not already in that group, I'd love to have you join us. It's called Network Like the Rich. And let's see here. There we are. Okay, so share this over into Network Like the Rich. Tell me hi. Tell me where in the world you're joining from. And tell me how long you've been in business. How many years you've been in business? How long have you been online? So this this whole concept is what's missing for most people in the online world. And it makes it very slow and very challenging to build a business in the online space. I started off Main Street, brick and mortar. That's a completely different world. In fact, one of my friends online, Jana, recently asked a question, the online space and the offline space are the same skill sets required for success? Is it a totally different thing? And I said, it's a totally different thing. And she asked, more questions and I my wheels started turning. And this is the thing that I've observed. It's very, very challenging for people who've been successful offline, brick and mortar, real estate, insurance, all that. It's very, very challenging to translate into the online world. And I think that the thing that makes it so like a mystery, this puzzle to figure out, is the thing that we're going to talk about today. So when I announced this live and I told the story of, give them something to talk about, and I explained what I was going to share here, there was a lady who said, wow, that's harsh. And there's a group of people that like to complain a lot on the internet, oh, these people make all these lofty promises. And I hired someone, she said I was going to make money in 3 months and I didn't. And I can't believe they use these words. There's people who will complain about the people who tickle their ears, and the people will also complain when you give it to them straight. Here's the thing. People don't really want either. They want something for nothing and their chicks for free, right? We all want that. But this is how it works in the online space. If in the physical, like brick and mortar, Main Street world, it's very old school. In a lot of ways, it's very old school, and it's where I started. And when you start off in that world, there's this mentality that hard work and dedication and showing up and being consistent is those are the keys to success. And they definitely are, right? But there's also this undercurrent that tells you if you're good at what you do, then you're going to be just fine. And this is what creates a problem in the online space. How many of you have come into the online space and you just thought, I'm good at what I do. People love what I do. They get results, or, big things happen for them. So surely the people who are good like me, and people who have integrity and who have discipline, all these things, those are the people who are going to be successful. And those are the people who should be successful. And that's rarely how it turns out. And it can be an extremely frustrating experience. Anyone ever seen this, heard this, been there? This is what I want you to know, is the way to succeed at anything is to understand the game you're playing. Ever got your kids a board game or bought a new, card game? Everyone knows you open the package, you read the instructions, right? If you're going to skim them, but you got to figure out what the rules of the game are. Otherwise, you have no chance of winning. And the online space is a place where a lot of people come thinking that offline rules are going to work here. It's like showing up to the football field expecting to play soccer. The people who win this game are the people who understand the way the game works and what the rules of the game are. And so what I can tell you is being good at what you do doesn't really matter. Do I want you to be good at what you do? Yeah. Is that a good thing? Absolutely. Is this the right thing for your clients? Yeah. If somebody doesn't know what they're doing and they're making promises that they can't deliver and they're completely, a fraud, is that a good thing? No. But at the end of the day, if they nail this, they're going to go way further than somebody who's just good at what they do. So what is this thing that I'm alluding to? So it's this absolute need to figure out how to get everyone talking about you, good, bad, or ugly, as quickly as possible. Now, I fell into this when I came online 11 years ago. So as soon as my boys were born, we left the US, we were living in Mexico, and then we moved to Europe. And everyone that I was related to, everyone I had done business with locally, thought Derek and I were crazy. There is this rule and this mentality that says when you get married and you have kids, you settle down. You put down roots. You also give up your ideas of fun, your dreams, your aspirations, right? Like this, nobody wants to say that out loud, but that's kind of the gist of it. But for me, it was the opposite. So I had traveled a lot. Then I had traveled with Derek. I took him to all my favorite places. And I knew the very first thing I wanted to give my kids was the gift of travel. And so that's what we did. Now, the everything in the online space is a double-edged sword. So somebody had told me about, hey, there's Facebook groups for families who travel. And I joined that group over, 30,000 families traveling. So it turns out I wasn't the only weirdo. I wasn't the one who had some crazy idea nobody else did. It's a whole thing. And then once you're in one Facebook group, you start learning about more, right? You're probably in hundreds of Facebook groups. And so that group led to me joining another group. And it was a group of women who traveled. Now, I understood that most of the women in there were single and digital nomads, and they were doing it in a slightly different way, but I didn't think anything of it initially. And so what I discovered right off the bat was that if I posted every single day in groups, I got tons of friend requests, I got new followers, I got people jumping into my DMs, how are you funding your travel? How old are your kids? Da, da, da. All of these conversations were sparking. So I had people moving toward me, which, by the way, here is a little something for you to take a note on. If you post in other people's Facebook groups every single day, you will have a much greater chance of having people move toward you every day. And that's something that we all want as business owners. And so one day I put the photo of us on the plane from Mexico to Greece. We were headed to Albania, we had a few pit stops. And I didn't think anything of it. I got on the plane and, 8-9 hours later, across the ocean, and I get Wi-Fi, and this post has blown up. The notifications, it was just hundreds, right? And I thought, oh, people are probably going to ask me questions about flying with little ones and this, that, and the other. No, I had completely offended and pissed off every person in this women's travel group. And a handful of them had decided to take my photos and then go on my profile, collect more photos of my kids, screenshots of the things I had posted, and launch this whole online campaign. Can you believe her? This is what's wrong in the world. She's traveling with her kids. They probably cried the whole flight. This is exactly who I don't want to have to sit by, right? And I thought, wow, this is insane. Like, I can't believe this made someone so mad. Like, did she realize she was a kid once? Like, hello, you know what I mean? And it just never crossed my mind. So I actually was, kicked out of the group. Fine, obviously not my group. And I was reeling a little because I didn't know how to respond. And when you're new to the online space, like I was, there's a lot of things that you might not know how to do, right? And responding to this was something I didn't know how to do. This was a new experience for me. Nobody is going to do that to you face to face at a BNI breakfast, right? There's different rules of engagement. There's different things that people will do online versus offline. But what I can tell you is this, is that after the dust settled over the next few days, week, couple weeks, I was absolutely flooded with friend requests, with private messages. Hey, listen, I'd love to interview you on my podcast. I'd love to invite you to my group. Hey, I saw what happened and I think what you're doing is amazing. So while initially my post drew the attention of people who disagreed with me, there's always at least an equal reaction from people who agree with you. And so I understood that this ability to polarize would create both ends of the spectrum. Now, what I understood is that I had a very short time period to figure out the online space. We had already left the US. And when we left the US, like I had been working to build up our clientele, and we had. But here's the thing I didn't anticipate is that when we announced that we were going to leave the US and we were going to travel with our kids, most of our clients at that time were boomers. Okay. Now it made sense. The reason I marketed to them, the reason I went after them, the reason I catered to them is because they were older, they were more stable, had more money, right? All of the things, all of the same reasons that it backfired on me. Because as soon as I said we were doing this, oh, you're going to go travel the world? Wait your turn. I haven't even done that. You can do that when you retire. Get behind me. And in our first, I don't know, I want to say couple months of being in Mexico, every single client, I want to say with the exception of one, fired us. If you want to move overseas, you want to do that, you're not having our business. They were so mad and so jealous that we were doing something out of order, right? That we had jumped the gun, that we beat them to the punch. And so we were sitting in Mexico. I still remember the exact place I was sitting in a square eating chilaquiles for breakfast. And my phone just starts going off like, cancel our contract. Da, 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 da. And they all got together and talked about it. And they felt like that was a good thing. There was a group of like 10, 12 clients in Tucson, Arizona in particular, just really irked them. So I had no choice but to figure it out fast. And this is one of the things that I want to emphasize is most of the time you have time. And when you have time, it can be nice. It can be a good thing, right? Oh, my husband's job is great, or, I've got this other thing, or I can transition because I've got this and that and the other. It's a nice thing in theory. But what I find is the more time that someone has and the less sense of urgency they have, the slower they are to adapt to the online space. And so they just end up sort of dragging this out and really never figuring it out. This is why most people just do okay, because they don't really have to do anything else. Now you have to remember, I was the mom and the wife who said, this is important to me. This is what I want to do. The only person I had on board was Derek. Everyone else thought I was crazy. In fact, somebody turned me in right before we left and said I was an unfit parent and actually tried to have my kids taken away from me because I made the decision that we were going to, Derek and I made the decision we were going to travel with our kids. Everyone thought I was crazy. Everyone said I was a bad mom. Everyone said it wasn't going to work out. And then I have my clients that I've been pouring into for, by this time, like 6, 7, 8 years. And instead of being happy for me, this is what they did. So I'm sitting in Mexico going, I have no freaking choice. I have Derek and I have me and I have 2 babies and I am out of the country. I have no ability to make money like I used to. If I could walk into a networking event, I could leave with a check. I could leave with money. I could leave with a client. I didn't have that. I had to figure it out. And not only did I have to figure it out financially, because the income had left when the clients left, but I had to figure it out so I didn't look like an idiot, so that everyone wouldn't be right. I had a lot that I had a lot of motivation, had a lot of inspiration. Do you have a lot of motivation? Do you have a lot of inspiration to make this work in the online space? Or is this just sort of like, it would be nice, right? It would be like extra income, or, I could do this or the other. I could get my nails done once a month. Like, what kind of urgency and importance do you have in this thing? Because what I can tell you is most people, it's really not that big of a deal either way. Yeah. Um, so the first thing that I would say is this, is figure out where all your safety nets are and shred them. Because your safety nets will hurt you a ton in the online space and in business in general, especially if you've been like easing your way in for 1, 2, or 3 years. Yeah. Just go cut all your safety nets. If you really want to do this, or go to just go do something else, right? Go do nothing. Go switch up. There's real, when I see people half-assing it online, I go, why? Why? Go do something better with your time. Because half-assing it online does not yield much of anything at all. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. So what I would say to you, number one, is to figure out, are you all in or are you all out? And for some, online space is not right. For some people, the offline world is where they belong. And for a lot of people, the online space is the only place that you're going to soar. Some people can dance in both worlds. I feel lucky and blessed that I can dance in both worlds. But I'm going to tell you something, the amount of money you can make in the offline world versus the online world, no comparison. I don't care what industry, I don't care how much money someone's making. If they took that online and translated it, they would make exponentially more. This is why I love the internet. This is why I love the online space. Even though it's always a double-edged sword, there is way more to be gained. So, yeah, burn the freaking boats. That's right. That's right. So, what I decided to do, and it was very challenging for me, because the other part that you need to know is 11 years ago, I was not this person at all. I was raised in a small town. I was raised in church. I'm a good girl. I have a PhD in people pleasing. I can immediately read what I need to adjust to make you happy, and I will do that. That's who I was. Did I see myself, or was I ready to become the person who was sparking controversy on the internet every other day? No, that was definitely not what I wanted. It just became a necessary part for me to be successful, for me to be the mom and the wife that could do what I wanted to do. Which, by the way, this story ends well. We traveled full-time for 5 years. And had I not been put in that position, I would have never done the things that we did. The amount of money we made, the amount of clients we had, the amount of reach, the places I got featured. I would have never got featured on Forbes. I would have never got an interview on Inc. and had 50 million downloads. Like that would have never happened for me if I wouldn't been put in this exact situation. So if you feel a little resentful, a little hurt, a little angry about the situation that you're in, if you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, if you feel like, what the fuck, right? I wish I didn't have this pressure. This is what I want you to know. I never wanted that pressure either. In fact, I never felt like I was built for that. I was a delicate flower once upon a time. But what I can tell you is this, is if you find yourself in that situation, it means that you're about to become everything you can become. You're about to become the person you came to be. So I decided to lean into this thing. I could have ran the other way. I could have bought the ticket, come home, tucked our tail, and went back to B&I in San Diego in Little Italy every Tuesday. I could have went back to that. I decided to lean into it. I decided to prove them wrong. And I just thought, you know what? Let's go. You want to go? Let's go. So I started posting in groups every day. I started going live in groups every day. This was back when you could do that and you paid no money, right? Those were the good old days. So I went live every single day. I asked questions in groups. This is how I met Kasha all those years ago. And you know how I filled my first program with over 100 people within weeks, right? Very early on coming on the internet, as I just did all that. And I thought, you know what? Being nice and kosher and somewhere in the middle, bland white rice is not going to get me anywhere. I have to fully lean into everything that creates a strong opinion. I have to have strong opinions and I have to spark these very strong conversations. And it worked. It worked over and over and over and over. If you think that you can't handle this, I can tell you, you can. You can learn how to handle it. You know, recently the boys overheard something and they asked, Mom, are you famous? And I was like, no, 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 Mom's not famous. And Derek said, your mom is internet famous. And the way she got that is she just spoke every day online. She wrote every day and she didn't back down. She let people have whatever opinion. And that's what it takes. And this is what I can tell you. Okay, let's go back to the first little hate group that started in Tucson, Arizona. The man who started it, who gathered all of our best clients and told them we shouldn't support them. His name is Eddie. Okay, so this was 11, 12 years ago. Eddie still follows me. You know, every time I get featured on something, every time I have a podcast, every time an article comes out, every time Eddie has like a Google alert on my name and he will show up and comment. He has written blog posts trying to slander my name because what's the big offense? She left local business and went online, which we all know is for charlatans, right? He's still my biggest hater. The women's groups, all those female travelers, right? All the women who were anti-marriage and anti-kids, right? They still gonna burn me in the streets, right? All the people who were like, you can't just go live every day on and sell off the link. That's out of integrity. You need to have conversations with every single person and make sure they're a good fit. Mm-hmm. Just so you know, every person who does this stuff online, what they are telling you in plain English is you're smarter, skinnier, richer, and better than I am. So every time you get someone who criticizes you, who just tries to run your name through the mud, just write this down. I'm going to give this to you. I've crafted this over 11 years of having haters. I can guarantee you that you could sit down and have a conversation with them. You could go do some investigative work and you will find out that is the case. And that's why they're so mad. Every single person, right? Oh man, I'm going blank on the lady who started the hate group for me on Facebook. I can't believe it, right? I owe her so much. So she went through my Facebook group. She joined my Facebook group. She private messaged every single member, over 500 members, She contacted every single client of mine. She had a lot of time, right? She could have built her own business, could have made her own money, but instead she was doing this. And she formed a Facebook group with hundreds of people and literally said, she's putting a spell on you. She's forcing you to pull out your credit card. You've got to stop following her. You've got to stop listening to her. She's put you under the spell. You know why? Because she wished she could go live and sell off a link and she couldn't. Because she was unwilling to say anything worth saying. This is what I can tell you is if you want everyone talking about you, good, bad, or ugly, you have to have something worth saying. You have to have something worth repeating. You have to have something that lights them on fire. You have to be more than a nice worded little post. You have to turn it way up. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in this middle sea of, okay, she's all right. She's nice. Well, I don't know. I'm sure she's great. I was telling the mastermind members today that, one of the things that really pissed people off, and it still does, right? I'll still get messages. You're running some affiliate scam. Yeah. So this is the affiliate scam. You already take notes. Get out your pen and notebook. So I would go into Facebook groups every day and I would literally ask them, what do you want or need around this? What do you dislike about this? What do you think's missing in this? What do you hate about that? And they would tell me, and I would create programs that were exactly what they said they wanted. And then I'd put it out there and talk about it every day and go live every day. And they would buy it like crazy. And then because it was so spot on, they would go put it on their profile. They'd go email their list. They'd go put it in their Facebook group. And then one day they'd be like, oh, you know what? Do you have an affiliate link? Sure, yeah, I can get you an affiliate link. And then they'd become affiliates. Lee Jane, she was an affiliate. She became our affiliate like back in 2018, 2019. Lots of affiliate commissions went her way. This isn't a scam. It's called when your shit is so good that people can't stop talking about it, they'll tell their friends about it. Anyone heard of Oprah? Right? Who said when Oprah would be like, "Oh, you got to buy this you got to buy this pink blazer. It's just my favorite. It's just so soft and silky. It goes so much. Look at," and then everyone goes and buys it. Nobody says Oprah is a scam, right? If you can't get them to talk about you, it doesn't matter how much you talk about yourself. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter if you have degrees. It doesn't matter if you've done market research. None of it matters. So the question is, what are you not talking about? What are you not showing? Okay, so I'm going to tell you something. There's someone I know, a client and someone in my Facebook group, and she did a post recently, and she was like telling all about herself. And one of the little points about herself was like, "Oh, I'm very opinionated." I sent her a private message. Oh, good to know, because I never heard a freaking single opinion of yours. So let's talk about this whole privacy thing, because I already know how this works, right? People are like, I want privacy and I have a private life and I have a spouse and I have kids and I have, right? Let me just tell you something. You always get whatever level of privacy you want. In fact, here's another story, okay? What I think this was like 3 years ago. I had put out this thing, hey, whoever wants to meet in Sedona with me, I'm going to rent this beautiful house and we're going to hang out and eat together. I'm going to cook for you and we're just going to chill and do Sedona stuff, right? And this was so fascinating to me. So I can't remember how many people went. We'll say 8 people in the house. Okay. I took Derek and the boys, told them I was going to do that. And it became obvious, like within hours, they were so confused because the person they thought I wasn't. And what led to that is when people know us on the internet, they think they know us. What they forget is they know the parts we let them know. So if you've ever thought like, I want to be successful online, but I also want privacy, can you have both? Yes, but there's a big but in there. Yeah. You get to decide what you put online. Like the online world doesn't know a lot about me, right? It knows what I want them to know. And what you need to know is that you, your marriage, your spouse, your kids, your grandma, like they'll come after all of you. When the haters show up, they don't follow any rules, right? They'll go ugly. And you got to be ready for that. But this is the way I see it, is that I'm not going to let anyone stop me. They can be a jackwagon all they want, but it's not going to stop me. I know what I'm here to do. And this is the key is, do you know what you're here to do? Do you know the level that you're here to do it? And have you already decided you're clear about what's not stopping you? Right? So if you're clear on all that and you've decided that, then you can go full tilt. This is the biggest thing I'm going to tell you is, yeah, you do have to have an opinion. You got to get way louder. You do. I mean, if nobody's like, the comments aren't blowing up on your post, or you aren't getting DMs, or people aren't like taking your words and going, oh my God, you have to see this, or taking your programs and sharing it all over. If you're not getting regular invitations to tell that story on that podcast, right, then you don't have it turned up enough. They don't have a sense of who you are or what you stand for. And the thing of it is that once you're all in, it's a lot easier. You still have to learn how to navigate this, right? Like I've interviewed people and they're like, I had to go to therapy after I got freaking bombarded on the internet. I never went to therapy, like I probably should have, but I'm raised old school. Anyone else raised in like walk it off generation? I was raised by the walk it off generation. Like you like break your leg at soccer practice and you go, oh, my leg hurts. I think I broke it. Should we go to the doctor? Like, walk it off, right? So should I have probably got help? Yes. But I just figure it would make me more, sarcastic and sinister and crazy for the next round, right? Just make me better. I can't be too soft for the haters, you know what I mean? I gotta have, my husband tells me, you gotta have that edge, Monique. If you're gonna be online, you gotta have that edge. You gotta find your edge. And some of you might have to find an alter ego at first. You might have to figure out a way how to do this. But what I will tell you is this, is you gotta turn it all the way up, or you just gotta get off of here. Because being somewhere in the middle won't work. It will lead to so much frustration, so much rejection, so many no's. I'm okay with the no's and the rejection and the haters because I've also benefited hugely from this space. But when you're in the middle, all you get is a lot of zeros and a lot of no's and a lot of ignores. It doesn't feel good. So it's about get all the way in or get out, honestly. Like I wouldn't be on the internet if I wasn't making a ton of money. I wouldn't post on social media so, whatever Sally Sue from down the street could know what I ate for lunch. You know what I mean? I would be all in or I'd be all out. Get all in or get all out. And then figure out the topics that you're going to talk about. It's probably not even going to be obvious to you because it's just your life, but you've got to figure out what they are. And you've got to talk about it everywhere. The other thing I told the mastermind today is anyone who thinks they're going to build a successful, profitable, lucrative business online from their little profile, I don't care how many friends and followers you have, it's just going to be so slow and so long. You have to leverage other people's communities, groups, email lists, summits. Have to. And if you can combine these two things, right? If you can be your fullest, loudest, most controversial, polarizing self and go stick that in groups that give you over 1 million, 2 million people, and you're doing this every day, I mean, you can't not blow up. You're going to blow up. Well, Monique, you don't understand. I just want like 4 clients a year. Okay, this isn't for you. You can go get 4 clients a year, freaking sitting on the couch eating bonbons and they'll accidentally drop, right? That's not what I'm talking about. Are you a person that's here to play big? That's what I want to know. Because this conversation really isn't for anybody else. And if you are here to play big, then you got to think big every single day. Every single day in every way. This is why I have a hard time having conversations with people who don't do business online, right? Oh my God. I can't even go to a lot of businesses where I live because they think so small. It just literally, my head explodes. Like, how is it possible to think that freaking small? Like, that takes more effort from me, right? Think big in every way. Think big ideas, big offers, big influence, big everything. Big money, big groups, big circles, big opportunities. You have to go big all day, every day. Otherwise, get out of the game. Because that's the only way this game works. Every person who pisses you off online, every person who triggers you, every person who hurts your feelings, and right, every person who does that, they're playing the game. They know the rules. Learn from them. Instead of blocking and unfollowing them and then writing a little whiny post about them, go study their ways. They do what they do for a reason because it works. You can form your little, we don't believe in that community and your own little committee, but all you're doing is saying, I'm not ready to go big, right? I don't think I can handle it. I mean, what the heck else were you built for? A mediocre life? Netflix and chill, take the trash out on Tuesdays and call it good? Hope you get a good check from the government at tax time? Come on. So you got to figure out what does it look like when you're all in, when you turn it up? What topics are you talking about on repeat that are just part of who you are? It's not forced, it's not contrived. People can feel it. And where are you talking about this and sharing this? And here's the thing, you have to promote like crazy online. You have to know the things to get clients. But in between those promotions, you better be making it very clear how you think, how you feel, where you stand. That's the recipe. You got to give them something to talk about every single day. Make them laugh, make them frown, make them throw their hands in the air, right? Make them go, oh my God, I've never heard anyone say it like that. You got to rock their world every freaking day. And I will tell you what will happen as a result of you doing this. You will be so freaking lit up. Because you're not just checking a little thing off of a to-do list, do a post on social media, email my list, go live, do a video, do a reel. You're literally saying, what is the big? What's the biggest I can be today? And when you live big every day, watch out. Okay, I got to get off of here. My husband has to finish some things up. I stole his computer. What's it going to be? And if you think you can't handle it, I'll tell you, I never would have thought I could handle it. I just would have never, I never saw this for myself. When Derek and I started our business, this was not, this, this was never on our vision board. Never. If you would have asked people 20 years ago, do you think that Monique's capable of this? No. She's capable of maybe making dinner for her husband, right? Getting her nails done, going to Pilates. Let me tell you something. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows what you're capable of. No one knows what you have inside. No one knows what you came here to do. But you'd better know it. It better be rock solid in you. It better wake you up every single morning and yank you on bigger stages. It better call you to do bigger things. Otherwise, you're going to go to your grave with potential, like most people on this planet. And that's just not why you're here. I'll see you next time. Bye.